to the Department of Health. At least 300 more Filipinos evacuate from war-torn Sudan. And Land Transportation Office warns of another possible shortage in license plates. Good evening. The National Telecommunications Commission says that the 90-day extension of the SIM card registration is final and no further extensions will be made. To tell us more, here's Sofia Abrogar reporting live. Sofia?
Neil, while the SIM Registration Act permits a total of 120 days for possible registration extensions, the National Telecommunications Commission is firm that the 90-day extension for SIM card registration is final and that no future extensions will be issued. NTC Deputy Commissioner John Paulo Salvajan previously explained that the 90-day extension was implemented to allow all SIM users to address digital literacy and government ID-related concerns with registration. Salvajan reminds the public that unregistered SIM cards will be automatically deactivated once the deadline expires on July 26, exactly 91 days after the original April 26 deadline. Unregistered SIM owners will immediately lose access to call and text services and e-wallets, among other features. The Department of Information and Communications Technology previously warned that unregistered SIM card users may gradually lose access to telecommunications services over the 3-month extension. However, the legal and technical feasibility of this gradual deactivation is still under review by the NTC, according to its Deputy Commissioner. Salvajan reports that the NTC is closely coordinating with the country's telecommunications services on this issue, as they would bear the responsibility of whitelisting these services. Partial deactivation of social media accounts has never been implemented in the Philippines, but has been tried in other countries, according to Salvajan. Digital rights advocacy groups, however, such as the Computer Professionals Union and Digital Pinoys, have voiced their condemnation of the possible telco service withdrawals, asserting that this is not included in the SIM Registration Act, nor in its implementing rules and regulations. This follows the Supreme Court's dismissal of a petition filed by journalists, data privacy advocates, and multi-sectoral activists who pled against the Act's implementation on the grounds that the law could open doors for free speech and privacy violations. That's it for me, Neil. Back to you.
Mm-hmm. Sophia, I understand that this is still under review and you actually mentioned this in your report, but I'm curious about the gradual deactivation of the SIM cards during the 90-day extension. How will this work? And do telecommunication companies have the capability to do this?
So yes, Neil, this is still under review, but the working explanation of NTC Deputy Commissioner Salvajan is that it is not government bodies themselves that will withdraw social media access from unregistered users, but it is actually the private telecommunication companies themselves, such as Globe, Smart, and Dito Telecommunications, that will deactivate these services. And Salvajan earlier clarified as well that it is not the accounts themselves that will be deactivated, as for example with Facebook, some accounts are linked to an email and not to a phone number. But it is the apps themselves, like Facebook, Twitter, etc., TikTok. The apps on the phones themselves will, on the phones bearing unregistered SIM cards, those will be deactivated. So this is what is being reviewed by the telco giants and by NTCs.
So if I understood it correctly, it is the responsibility of the telecommunication companies to gradually deactivate the services offered for the SIM card subscribers, right?
Yes, that's correct.
It might be interesting to hear what the telecommunication companies have to say about this, or whether or not they actually have the capability to do this. That's Sofia Abrogara reporting live. An aerial intruder was detected during the Balikatan 2023 military exercises in Zambales. John Eric Mendoza reports.
During the bilateral war games between the United States and the Philippines, an aerial intruder entered the territory of San Antonio town. That is according to Balikatan 2023 spokesperson Colonel Michael Lohico. Lohico said the interloper detected by the radar delayed the operation while the two countries practiced the sinking of a mock target 235 kilometers away from Scarborough Shoal. When asked if the interloper could come from China, Lohico said that they have yet to verify the intruder's origin. The official also said they immediately stopped the drills upon the detection of the aerial intruder.
safety is always a primary consideration when you conduct the exercise. Any interloper or any intrusion into the exercise that will endanger the lives of people, whether it's intentional or accidental, is our primary consideration.
As the highlight of this year's Balikatan, some 1,400 Marines, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen from both countries took part in the drills, which involved detecting, identifying, targeting, and engaging the target ship using several ground and air-based weapon systems. President Bongbong Marcos was in attendance earlier to witness the joint live-fire exercise. This year's Balikatan is the biggest ever so far, joined by 17,600 troops from the two countries. The military exercise began on April 21 and will last until April 28. This is John Eric Mendoza reporting for INQUIRER.net.
The Land Transportation Office warns of another possible shortage in license plates by June and July if the Department of Transportation fails to procure the necessary plates. In a television interview, LTO Chief J.R. Tugades says license plates for motorcycles may run out by June, while those for motor vehicles will be depleted by July. When asked if this would result in another shortage of license plates, Tugades says that it might happen if procurement does not go in accordance with the planning. To address the looming shortage, Tugades says that the LTO is now working on contingencies, including the authorization of temporary plates provided by the owner themselves. The LTO chief acknowledges, however, that several issues could arise with this approach, such as the chance that temporary plates would result in more crimes or even just the laborious procedure of counter-checking the temporary plates. Tugades says that the LTO had already projected the said driver's license shortage as early as November 15, 2022, prompting the agency to form a procurement committee. Currently, the LTO is still addressing a past shortage in license plates, vowing to complete 90% of it by the end of 2023. Senator Cynthia Villar is considering filing a court case after a video of her went viral last week. Beatriz Pinlac has the report.
In a video posted on Facebook last Wednesday, Senator Cynthia Villar was captured berating a group of security guards as she told them to take down the metal barriers that they had put up along a road in BF Resort Village, Las Piñas City. The clip, which had been viewed at least 7 million times, sparked mixed reactions from netizens who either praised or condemned Villar's behavior. A week after the video made waves on social media, Villar says she's considering raising the issue to court as she sees ill intentions behind the posting of the clip. The senator decried the move to block off the road, which leads to a composting facility that she had built in the area years ago.
I don't want people to remember me as a senator who just keep quiet. I want to be remembered as someone who will fight for what is right and what is good for the people.
Asked if she thinks there was malicious intent behind the posting of the video, Villar says,
Yes, but I don't want to talk about it because we're going to court. So that's sub judice.
She adds that consultations with her lawyer are underway to see if she should file a case against the person who made the video public. In the viral video, a voice was heard repeatedly pleading for the senator not to harm the security personnel. Villar says she was suspicious about this, only to find out later on that the incident was being recorded.
They planned it, but that's okay with me. Alam mo, pag ikaw public official, you encounter all these problems and you must accept it because that's the price you pay for being a public official. You have to accept all these things. You just do what you have to do afterwards, di ba?
Villar also notes that there is a temporary restraining order issued by the Las Piñas Regional Trial Court, which means the BF Resort Village Homeowners Association, Inc. can no longer hinder people from using the Friendship Route. The Friendship Route allows Las Piñas residents to pass through several private villages in the city, offering an alternative to the often congested Alabang Zapote Road. This is Beatriz Pinlac reporting for INQUIRER.net.
Next on Inquirer Today. First case of Arcturus COVID-19 subvariant in the Philippines has recovered, according to the Department of Health. At least 300 more Filipinos evacuate from war-torn Sudan. And Maynilad announces daily water service interruptions in Parañaque, Pasay, and Cavite until May 16. This is Inquirer Today. We'll be back shortly.
Ako si Eloise Jill Cadilo. Currently, student ako sa UP, pero at the same time, nagtatattoo ako sa sining tinta. Personally, na nagpapatattoo ako, hindi ako ganun ka-comfortable doon. So, naisip ko, lahat ng hindi ako comfortable with, ibahin ko siya. Light lang yung curation ng space para hindi ka natatakot pag nagpapatattoo ka, lalo na't masakit kasi magpatattoo. Nag-start ako mag-tattoo, hindi dahil gusto ko mag-tattoo. Dahil gusto kong kumuha ng tattoo. Pero at the same time, hindi ko afford yung artist na gusto ko. So parang inisip ko, bakit hindi na lang ako magpaturo sa previous tattoo artist ko. Tapos i-design ko yung tattoo ko and then ako gagawa sa sarili ko. Tapos from there, yung una kong natatuan ay yung sarili ko din. So mas naramdaman ko yung difference sa practice skin and sa skin nung ginagawa ko na sa sarili ko. Nagtatattoo lang ako sa apartment namin sa Kamuning. Tapos, marami na din kasi akong friends nagpapatattoo nun. Tapos at the same time, yung friends nila, gano'n. Hindi kaya ng space ko kasi sobrang liit lang talaga nun. Tapos mainit. Tapos, ayun, lumaki na lang siya kasi nung nag-start akong mag-tattoo, somehow may na-meet akong mga other women artists. Tapos doon namin nabuo na parang women's space talaga siya. Gano'n. Sining tinta kapag English, ink art, gano'n. Yung pinaka tagline kasi is malaya at mapagpalayang sinings. Tapos, at the same time, yung artists ay puro women kasi marami sa clients ko previously, nagkukwento na they don't feel safe kapag puro male yung artists nila, gano'n. May ganong stories. I want to take that scare away, gano'n, yung that intimidation. And the only way na I can do it is if we strictly create a space na women artists lang din talaga. Future, we want to be able to expand this industry na mas maging accepting siya sa women artists na gusto pumasok sa pagtatattoo. Tapos, at the same time, sa mga clients namin, we want to break stereotypes. Makakapasok ka sa mga work institutions na may tattoo ka, gano'n. Tapos, hindi ka madidiscriminate for it or walang notion of yung usual na iniisip nila na madumi yung balat mo. Mas accepting yung society sa people with tattoos and people who engaged in tattoos and piercings.
The Department of Health reports on Wednesday that the first infection of the XBB.1.16 Omicron subvariant of COVID-19 in the country was an asymptomatic case and has since recovered. The DOH reported the first case of the subvariant, also called the Arcturus, in its latest biosurveillance report on Tuesday. In a message to reporters, the department says the detected Arcturus case in Iloilo province showed no symptoms and has already recovered. According to DOH, Arcturus is a sublineage of the Omicron, which has the ability to evade immunity and is said to be more transmissible. The DOH says no changes in severity have been reported in countries where Arcturus is said to be circulating, based on the latest assessment by the World Health Organization. It adds that overall risk assessment of the subvariant is low. The DOH reminds the public to continue practicing available layers of protection against COVID-19, such as wearing of face masks and isolating when sick. It also urges the public to get vaccinated and boosted against the transmissible virus. The Department of Foreign Affairs says at least 300 more Filipinos have started evacuating Sudan, while the 72-hour ceasefire clock of warring factions in the war-torn country continues to wind down. In a message to INQUIRER.net, Foreign Affairs Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Eduardo de Vega says 7 more buses carrying at least 300 Filipinos left from Sudan to Egypt on Wednesday morning. De Vega notes, however, that Filipino evacuees are met with grueling procedures before entering Egypt, where processing takes over a day. De Vega says this is also holding back the first batch of Filipinos from crossing over the Sudan-Egypt border. According to De Vega, processing takes long because many do not have Egyptian visas nor passports with them, while some are unable to pay for exit or entry fees. He said the Philippine Embassy in Egypt is already trying to fix the delays in processing the Filipino evacuees. The DFA official also reports that Ambassador Ezedin Tago and Vice Consul Boger Kapati figured in a car accident while in a rush to get to the border. In a separate message, DFA spokesperson Teresita Daza says Tago returned to Cairo and will instead fly to the border to facilitate the entry of the Filipinos to Egypt. According to the DFA, there are 740 Filipinos registered in Sudan as of Tuesday, April 25. Maynilad Water Services announces that the cities of Parañaque and Pasay, as well as parts of the province of Cavite, will continue to face daily water service interruption until May 16 due to low water production. In an advisory on Tuesday night, Maynilad attributes the low production level to the spikes in turbidity level of raw water in Laguna and a leak in a water treatment plant's ultrafiltration valve. Meanwhile, Maynilad assures the public that it had already ordered the repair of the leaking valve. The water provider urges affected customers to store enough water supply on times it is available, also reminding them to let their water flow out briefly until it clears upon the resumption of water services. Mobile water tankers have also been deployed to affected areas to deliver potable water, while stationary water tanks have already been installed in several areas. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Pwedeng-pwede nang magpakasal anumang oras mula ngayon ang kapuso comedian na si Kiray Celis sa kanyang long-time non-showbiz boyfriend na si Stefan Estopia. Ayon kay Kiray, marami nga ang nagpapayo sa kanya na lumagay na sa tahimik at bumuo na ng sariling pamilya dahil mukhang pang-forever na ang pagmamahalan nila ni Stefan. Naniniwala ang komedyana na natagpuan na niya ang lalaking makakasama niya ng panghabang buhay. Pero feeling niya hindi pa ito ang tamang panahon para magpakasal at magkaroon ng mga anak. At knows nyo ba na sa ilang taong relasyon na magjowa ay never pa raw silang nag-away ng bonggang-bongga? Magkaiba man daw ang ugali nila, nagkakasundo naman sila sa halos lahat ng bagay. Kaya wala na raw siyang hahanapin pa.
Ako po, pag napagawa na to, yung ngayong taon nga daw, kung pwede na kayo magpakasal, mga ganun. May mga ganung moment na. Meron na po talaga yung family ko sa family, sobrang close talaga. Kaya wala talaga kaming problema sa buhay. Hindi kami nag-aaway. Wala kami talaga pinag-aaway.
Tampuhan? Walang ano?
Wala. Siguro pinakamalala na naming away dahil sa soft drinks. Ganun ka ba ako?
Bakit?
Anong nangyari sa
Siguro ganun talaga kapag right person. Parang walang toxic, walang babae, walang pag-aaway na cellphone, walang pag-aaway na oras. Kasi lahat sa'yo yun. Minsan nga parang kami na nga lang yung parang, pwede labas ako with friends. Kasi parang madalas kami na yung magkasama.
At yan ang bandera chika natin today. Thanks, Neil.
Maraming salamat, Irvin, and these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Catch Inquirer Today live weekdays at 5 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good afternoon.